Alie, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, fire away, dude.
What?
Fire away, dude.
Oh. Yes or no? Finding the right hair color for you, Alie, can be a challenge.
What color is my hair right now?
Burgundy.
Yeah, was that on purpose?
No.
Did I need to use E-Salon?
Yes, you did.
Oh, I fucked it up. Oh, wait. You can scratch that.
No, it's great. E-Salon offers professional grade, leave that in, completely personalized hair color that's created just for you and delivered right to your door. Alie, you fucking need this.
I need it so much. This is the last time I will color my hair without taking the steps to get the right color. I grabbed a color off the shelf. It was the wrong color. My hair is maroon now.
Don't do it. Alie, do you love questionnaires?
Yes.
Here's a hair questionnaire. Upload your photo and a personal colorist will formulate your individually blended color from over 15,000 pigments.
Oh my God.
I know.
I need E-Salon and a time machine to go back to yesterday.
Totally. Well, they've got you covered. There's 100% satisfaction guaranteed if you're not happy, Alie.
Oh God, I need
with
this.
your color. It will give you a free reformulation or refund.
I think anything's better than what I did to myself before.
I mean, you look cute.
Thanks, dude. But you know what? I like that the color doesn't fade. Like they have the grays covered. Because I get some grays every once in a while.
I mean, at 23 years old, our gray is like pretending to start to come in.
I know. It's probably because we're such big thinkers.
We're so young.
So you can visit esalon.com/slumberparty, all one word. And do that. You get 50% off your first order. So that's $10 for your personalized hair color, which is crazy because the last time I got my hair colored in a salon, it was like $180.
Dude, you can do it your freaking self. I've been doing it my freaking self for years and years.
Yeah, I really got the wrong color. So I need to use eSalon. You get 50% off your first box at esalon.com/slumberparty. So go do that. Don't be an Alie Ward.
Send us photos too. Hashtag it at, I don't know, Alie in Georgia. Let's see your hair.
Yeah, just tag us in it on Instagram. Let's see your pictures.
Let's do it.
I want to look at your hair.
Bye. Listen, you shouldn't have to stretch your budget to buy jeans with a little give. High-end denim can cost hundreds of dollars, but bargain brands don't offer the same level of style and comfort.
Yeah. You can't get some jeans that cost you hundreds of dollars and like have to do a juice cleanse to get into them.
Totally. So Distilled, spelled D-S-T-L-D, they've revolutionized the fashion industry with their timeless luxury grade denim. So you get jeans that would normally cost you hundreds starting at just $65.
Yeah. They eliminate these crazy markups because they refuse to work with middlemen.
Refuse. They ship directly to you for free and guarantee the fit, or they'll send you a new pair until they're perfect. Distilled jeans are built to last and will be a staple in your closet for years.
They also have a bunch of fall jackets. So if you're like into a classic denim or you want like a bomber jacket, you can just expect the same level of quality.
Okay. And so for a discount, go to dstld.com/feral and you'll get $10 off your first order.
That's
d.com/feral for $10 off. Bye. Thanks. Bye.
Feral Audio.
It's Alie.
It's Alie in Georgia.
Welcome to Slumber Party, Georgia.
Hey.
We're at your house.
We are.
What are you wearing?
Pajamas.
And what's on your face?
Well, my head is my eye mask that I just got up from bed and didn't take off. So
You answered the door and I was like, why are you got a bra on your head, girl?
it does look like a bra.
You just coasted straight from your bedroom onto your couch. Now we're podcasting.
Yep. Made coffee along the way.
This was a great idea for a podcast.
Which part? Slumber Party?
Just like built in lazy comfort.
Totally.
We did a good job there.
Yeah. This was exciting.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Hey, Alie, this is Slumber Party with Alie in Georgia.
Yeah, what did you learn?
Me first?
Yes.
Okay, we always start with one thing we learned this week. Okay, I love the meaning of sayings, like where sayings came from.
Idioms.
Thank you. Okay, so do you know where the saying, pulling out all the stops comes from? Isn't that cool?
No, I just love these so much.
I do too.
This is like a puzzle. It's like a riddle.
I know.
Okay.
Pulling out all the stops.
Sorry, I interrupted you with squeaking because I was so excited.
It's exciting.
Pulling out all the stops. Okay, can I guess?
Hold on a second. Can we pause for 1 second?
Yeah, we're getting a phone call from our guest's wife.
This is a first on Slumber Party. You locked your wife out of her apartment.
Oh, fudge.
And she really has to pee. Do you want to come over here? Or I'll just send her home. Your husband.
How far away do you
Oh,
live?
no.
2 blocks away.
I'm
We'll
so sorry.
talk about what we learned.
Okay. But she's also pregnant. And she has to pee really bad.
What is she doing?
She's coming here. Do you want to go? You can leave if you need to let your pregnant wife into her apartment.
They can use off the balcony.
Okay. But I think she might come in here to pee.
She probably might.
Just gonna roll with it.
I think we should leave this in.
Sure.
Okay. Do you,
We'll have Glennis guest on this.
you can go do it while we're.
Sent me a text in all caps. It says, Matt, you locked me out.
Oh no.
Are we starting over or are we gonna leave this in?
I don't know. What do you think? Let's see how it sounds and then we can decide. But
Georgia,
yeah.
can you do me a favor?
Yes.
Can you tell me what you learned?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me what you learned.
Okay.
What did you learn?
Okay. The meaning of the word of the phrase pulling out all the stops.
Can I guess?
Yes.
Does it have to do with a train and opening up some valves on a train?
That is a really good guess.
Am I correct?
But instead of train, change train to pipe organ.
What?
Because pipe organs these instruments have stops to control the airflow through the pipes, and pulling them out increases the music volume.
No.
So you pull out of the stops and you're like, boom.
Oh my God.
You
That's-
blast it.
I
Cool.
feel like that's like waiting for the beat to drop, but in like
Seriously.
18th century church performances.
Seriously.
They're like, do continue with your patience as the stops will all be pulled.
Like instead of calling out like Freebird,
right.
they're like, stop, pull out all the stops.
Yeah. Instead of like all these dudes with mustaches and monocles are like, ooh, he must impendingly pull the stops.
Right.
Beat's gonna drop. That's dope. Where did you learn that?
I was out and I was like, I said it. I said pulling out all the stops. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what the fuck? I don't know where that's from. And just looked it up. And you know what is amazing these days?
What?
The internet knows everything.
Are you serious?
Like you just put in like a vague idea of what you want to know. And it's like, yeah, no, everyone asked this. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like we get you covered. It's a good question.
Yeah.
Like for example, that jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
Is that what you learned this week?
No, that's just like a 9/11 conspiracy theory.
Oh.
But when someone their eyes start glazing over and they start talking about how jet fuel can't melt steel beams, you know that Bush did 9/11 is right around the corner.
Oh, dear.
Maybe he did. Maybe he
mean-
did. He's making some fantastic paintings though these days.
We're
Bush.
not. Is he really? Fuck that guy.
Yeah, he's taking up painting. You didn't know that? There's some great joke about how that's interesting. Hitler took up painting before. Whatever. Bush.
hilarious.
Do you want to know what I learned?
Absolutely.
I think you would like this one. When I learned this, I was like, I can't wait to tell Georgia about this into a microphone in front of other people.
Tell me.
Do you know what the word Bildungsroman means?
I don't because I don't know that is a word.
Bill, B-I-L, dung, as in
Bildung.
dungs, Roman, like Roman. Bildungsroman. I have no idea if it's Bildungsroman. I don't know how these letters go together.
It?
I looked it up. It was on a Wikipedia page when I was looking up an author.
Oh.
It is in literary criticism. It comes from the German word. It's a coming of age story. A Bildungsroman is a novel of formation, and it's when someone goes on a journey of psychological or moral growth, like youth to adulthood. What kind of dumb word is that?
That's really stupid. I'd rather say it's a coming of age story.
Yeah, it's probably fewer syllables, less Germanic. But can you imagine if you were just in general culture and you're like, I think 13 going on 30 is a real cinematic Bildungsroman. Who says that?
Ebert?
Now, can everyone start saying that?
No.
What's your favorite Bildungsroman?
Oh, I don't know.
Mine is My Side of the Mountain, I think.
That's cute.
It's about a boy who goes into the forest to live by himself, and he lives in a tree, and he forages for food, and it was written in like the 60s. But nowadays, you'd be like, oh, this child has a severe form of autism, must live alone, and he needs protection. But in the day, it was like, Mom, Dad, I'm 8. I'm going camping for 4 years.
Later days.
But I love that book.
Well, I want to ask our guest what he learned this week.
But yeah, he's gone, dude.
He left because
our guest left.
In the middle of this, his wife called to tell him that he locked her out of the apartment.
And she's pregnant. She has a urination issue at the moment.
She has to pee.
She has some urgency. I love that there's just an empty spot on the couch, a half-had cup of coffee, and a microphone sitting limply. It's like a ghost is here.
What if he never existed?
It's possible.
Let's introduce our guest and ask him what he learned this week.
I think that's a great idea.
Our guest is a comedian, a writer, a fellow feral audio podcaster.
Correct. Podcast called We Watch Wrestling. Who else is on that podcast?
Just my fiance. Oh my god. He was the writer on Pete Holmes. He was Home Show. He's a real funny guy. He's a redhead. I'm just gonna keep going.
He's sitting on the couch.
Hey, Matt McCarthy, what'd you learn this week?
I'm Matt McCarthy.
Hi, Matt. I'm Matt McCarthy.
Hello.
What'd you learn?
I learned that monks who cut their hair, they shave their head except for all the hair around the sides.
Also known as your dog. Your Scotty dog has the same haircut.
Scotty dog. That's called a tonsure, and they do it to emulate the crown of thorns that Jesus wore.
With hair? Mm-hmm. I think Jesus would be like, you don't even know, dude. No, you don't even know. I wish my crown was a hair crown.
He's like, I'm sorry, you have back bangs, but I had thorns in my face. Mm-hmm. What the hell was that about?
I have been very, very slowly reading Ulysses by James Joyce. And reading it along with a podcast that's explaining it.
Oh.
Got it.
Right.
That's cool.
It's fun.
What, is that the podcast is solely to explain Ulysses or books in general?
Just Ulysses.
What's it called?
Rejoice. Put like R-E colon Joyce.
Rejoice.
With Frank Delaney. And he's a riot. He's like, welcome to Rejoice. I'm Frank Delaney. We're still on Sandy Mount Strand. Stephen Dedalus is walking along the beach. Yeah.
Is each episode a chapter?
I wish.
I know.
Sometimes each episode is just a sentence.
Wow.
I picked up Ulysses once. I was like, I hear people talking about this a lot, and I looked at the first paragraph, and I was like,
Yeah.
nope.
Yeah. It
Why
is.
is that? I've never even looked at
The
it.
densest shit you've ever. It just is barely. It's barely readable English.
It's just jammed packed with references to classical literature and poetry and philosophy and the Bible. So and it's very like I'm in chapter 3 now. The podcast is already in its second year. Like and I'm on page 40.
God.
Right. And he keeps digressing and talking about Shakespeare and stuff and he's like I'm sorry, I'm trying to stay on track. This is going to take 28 years.
Who's more pretentious, James Joyce or the guy doing the podcast?
I think James Joyce.
Probably James Joyce.
I don't know. He was on opium though, so I feel like you're
Oh.
not. Well, I don't know if he was really on opium. I absolutely just fabricated that, but I imagine that he was on
Oh,
opium.
he definitely hit the sauce.
Okay, right? He was a drunk.
He loved whacking it back. He was also going blind.
Really?
Yeah.
Whacking it back whacking it back sounds like a euphemism for masturbation, which is what will make you blind.
Oh,
and
that's
you'll grow
whacking
hair.
it off.
Oh, I've been doing it wrong the whole time.
Whacking it back.
Wrong way, Alie.
That'd be like knocking it into your stomach.
Ouch.
Terrible.
Wait, what prompted you to dive into Ulysses?
I've just always been curious about it. I've never read it, always been intimidated by it. And then it dawned on me, there's a podcast about everything. Maybe there's a podcast
Wow.
about explaining Ulysses. And then there was.
I don't even know if Bildungsroman can apply to like Shakespearean literature,
He definitely comes of age.
right? I just learned that word, and it's a German word.
Let's ask Matt a slumber party question.
I think that's a dope ass idea.
Slumber dumber.
Matt, you know what? I'm going to ask my favorite because I bet you have a good answer. What is your secret? You're home after a show that you performed at. You want a snack. You're hungry. You go into the kitchen and you make your weird secret midnight snack. That's like this. That's weird.
A weird secret midnight snack? Mm-hmm. I try not to complicate my food for me. I like to eat things ready to go.
Like what?
Well, if we have Fig Newtons in the cupboard, I'll eat those. Or I'm really into these V8 fusion juice where it's vegetable juice, but with a lot of fruit juice in it, so it tastes good, but it's still a serving of vegetables. I love whacking those back. Whacking them back. But I also like, what are those blocks of cheese you can get, like the extra sharp and like the red...
Government
Tillamook?
cheese?
Not government cheese.
Tillamook.
That's a wheel. Yes, Tillamook.
Oh, yeah.
Tillamook is a
That's the biggest
Solid
process
brand.
I'll go through because we have like a cheese, like, what's that?
Grater? No,
We have a grater, but we have
roller?
one where you can just slice off one little piece at a time.
I've never owned one of those before.
Is it a
It's
cheese
the
roller?
best.
The thing with a wire and a roller?
It's just a like a knife with a hole in it. But it's also kind of like it's like a spatula with a hole in it that has a knife. Because then
get it.
you slice it off and then you can serve it.
I have a question. Did you get that for your wedding? Because that's the thing that you
is a
register
wedding.
for?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was necessarily a wedding gift, but it was definitely came from my wife. So yes, it came from the wedding.
That's not
I
the
wouldn't
thing.
own it if I didn't have my wife.
It's not a thing that a bachelor who
No.
watches a lot of wrestling owns.
No, I would just be biting into the block of cheese. Then. Cheese biter, whacking it back.
You're basically eating a giant block of cheese like you would like string cheese, but with a tool.
Right, and it's so good.
Do you want to know something I still think about?
Yeah.
Tell it to me.
It's been 20 years.
Yeah.
It's been over 20 years, 23 years since I saw this. I went to my friend's house. Her name was Alie Whipple. And we sat down to watch Pretty Woman. And she took a roll of cookie dough and she peeled it like a banana and just bit into it. And we just sat there. She's
Like
snacking.
peeled the plastic off?
That's
Just
not right.
snacking.
Ew.
Like I don't like breakfast burritos because I don't like taking a big bite of eggs. Like I like the small little partitions.
That's interesting.
Do you not like eating things with your teeth?
No, I do, but I mean, it's if I'm used to a small portion, then I don't like to be overwhelmed with it. Like I wouldn't want like a mouthful of salsa or
Right.
something, you know.
So you take your food like you take your joys.
But like but I get upset eating French fries if they're too small because then I can't have a big mouthful.
Yeah, like constantly picking French fries out of the thing is like, just give me. I just want
Yeah.
a big bite of French fries.
I feel like my hands don't work anymore. Like I feel like a T-Rex trying to pick up things.
Alie, you look confused.
Do you? I only eat French fries one at a time.
What?
Right. See, I want to have as much in my hand and in my mouth as I can.
You eat French fries only one at a time?
One at a time.
That would make me nuts.
Really?
I
Yeah.
do 3, 4.
I do one at a time because you want to coat the whole thing in ketchup or ranch dressing.
That's why I like the steak cut fries.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because it's like 10 little French
Yeah.
fries.
This episode's making me really hungry.
I know.
Do you guys know that down the street from here, there's an H Salt Fish and Chips, like old
Oh
school?
yeah, I've never been in there.
And I think that they filmed Spinal Tap in there. You know when they're interviewing the dudes and
Oh,
they're in
funny.
a restaurant? I think it's that place.
I need to rewatch.
We never go there. This is right next to wedged between like the Rite Aid and there's like a uniform store
It's
there.
a
And a
weird
flower
little,
store.
Yeah.
The garlic place next to it is terrible.
Oh, that new garlic. I think we should do a live episode from H Salt Fish and Chips and just fucking eat fish and chips and see how they are.
You've never had a better
Yay.
idea.
It's
the
You've
best
never
idea I've
had a
ever
better
had.
idea.
I know.
And you've had some good ass ideas.
Thank you.
You woke up with a bra on your head.
I
but
do
you've
not have a
never
bra
done
on my
anything better.
Even Glennis thought it was a bra. I
know.
That was amazing.
It looks like a bra, but
Listen, it's this fucking eye mask that I got from Bed Bath and Beyond, and it's amazing because it's got like cones for your eyes so that it doesn't press on your eyelashes and eyes, and it's amazing.
I knew it was a face mask.
You did?
I knew.
I'm wearing a bra that is identical in texture and size.
Does
Right
it have,
now.
Okay.
Like, wait, Matt, close your eyes. Dustin, close your eyes.
Let me see.
I've never worn a
this
bra.
bra.
Allie's gonna flash me. That's hilarious.
It's your eye mask
It's
right
the
now.
same thing.
Okay, you guys can open it.
All right, you can look.
There's really, quite literally nothing to see.
Allie took her bra out, everybody.
I feel like we should do a
She
side
did.
by side. You'll see they're very identical.
It's true.
Let's ask about ghosts.
Ghosts?
Let's get straight to it. Matt,
Matt?
have
Yeah.
you ever seen a ghost?
Never.
What about an alien?
Never. There was a haunted house in my neighborhood growing up.
What?
Very the scary lead.
Yeah. What? Who?
It
How?
was, I grew up in Rumford, Rhode Island, so it's like there were some old farmhouses and colonial houses. Haunted. And this is interesting. I actually ran into somebody randomly at a show who was from the same town, and she just by chance grew up in the house next door.
Oh my God.
And she knew this whole story, and she didn't know what the origin of it was. Meaning that developer bought up all this land. When I grew up, it was all just fields next to this reservoir along Pleasant Street and
Jesus.
and Miller. Yeah. And then he developed all the land. He built this huge brick mansion deep in the woods, and then was living there for a little while. Then it was this big real estate deal. And I got this whole story from my dad because he's a lawyer, and so he knew all the other lawyers. What wound up happening is they sold the brick mansion. They were moving into this colonial house, which was always there. My brother, when he was a paper boy, delivered papers to it. And everybody thought that the family who lived in it was really weird because they didn't live in the main house. Mm-hmm. They just lived in the back of the house. There was like an addition with like basically a smaller house added on. Mm-hmm. And they always claimed it was just easier to heat that way. So that's why they lived there and they didn't live in the main house. Right. So then this whole deal got brokered where it was this other guy was selling his house to his brother, and he was moving into the brick house, and then they were moving into the colonial house. All of a sudden, one day, the wife wants out of the deal. She wants out of the deal. Now, this is what this girl I met knew. She was like, yeah, I remember all that. Like, they were supposed to move, and they wouldn't, and they had to. So the lawyer is finally getting the story on what's the deal. She's in the colonial house deciding where to put furniture and stuff. She hears footsteps and like arguing upstairs. And so she goes to the foot of the staircase to see what's going on. She says she saw a man and a woman in colonial clothes talking, and then they stopped and like turned and looked at her.
Oh, God.
And she ran out of the place.
Oh, God.
So now the lawyer, my dad's friend, is like, okay, we got one. We got one on our hands. And so he starts asking, because they're renovating the house, he starts asking workers if they ever saw anything. And some of the painters were like, well, now that you mention it, we heard banging in parts of the house where nobody was working.
Oh, my God.
Stuff would move, tools would move. Then the deal gets done and they have to move in. This is the last part. This is the best part.
Oh, divorce. Oh,
they had an electrician who was working on stuff, and she couldn't be there. Probably went out shopping. You women and your shopping.
That's all we do. I thought you meant the electrician was a woman, and I was really
so
excited too.
Let's say the electrician was a woman.
That's the scariest part, is that a woman is electrician.
That is. So then she comes back and she asks him how everything looks. You know, a lot of old wiring, like that. You know, probably from like the 30s with like cloth over the wire and stuff. And so then she says, the electrician says, yeah, you know, it was fine. I was walking around the house. Your daughter was asking me what I was doing and stuff. And she's like, we don't have a daughter.
Oh, God.
And he's like, what are you talking about? There was a little blonde girl in a blue dress following me around, asking me what I was doing.
Stop it.
I'm dying. I'm dying.
Stop.
Is that the best? Yeah.
Allie's going to throw up.
Down the block from my house growing up.
Holy shit.
My
Did they
eyes are
move
watering.
in?
They moved in, and then they lived in the back of the house because it was easier to heat that way.
Yeah, right. Shit.
Oh my God! Like, yeah, why was your daughter wearing a bonnet and spats and like
and had like a gun, like a
the
knife
best?
wound.
yeah, and
This little girl with half a head was following me around.
Oh, that's so creepy. They lived in the back house because it was bright, because it
Not
was better.
creepy.
You know why? Because there
Yeah.
was a chill, a pervading chill that couldn't be heated away. It was a wind of death.
Oh, it's so cold in this room.
Oh my God. What the fuck? Let's go there. Is it still there?
It's still there.
Oh my God!
Someone live there?
Yeah.
Let's
I
buy
don't
it.
think that couple lives there anymore. I don't know who lives there now, but I mean, it's like, come on.
Let's check on Google Street View and see if we can see a tiny blonde girl in a
Oh, yeah.
bonnet
In
Yeah.
the
carrying
window.
a
That's
musket.
a great idea. That's a really good idea.
Oh, I have goosebumps.
I'm
But do you
scared.
believe in ghosts, or do you think that they're just fun?
There's got to be something. There's got to be something.
Yeah. Did
You
you
know?
grow up believing in like afterlives and like, oh, P.S. if you don't share that with your brother, you're going to hell forever?
Oh, yeah.
You were
yeah.
raised Catholic.
Irish Catholic. You know, I had nuns in school that, you know, were going to go to hell and stuff.
They were going to go to hell?
No, we were. We didn't listen to them and learn, you know, geography.
You're absolutely going to rot in the underworld for eternity.
Burning and turning.
At what point were you like, Oh, fuck this.
Honestly, it wasn't until like early high school, and I was listening to when I discovered Bill Hicks for the first time, and he was talking about, you know, I can't remember how Bill put it exactly. But like then George Carlin kind of made the same point and articulated it a little bit better. Of like, there's this God who loves you. No, but the way Carlin did it was like, there's an invisible man in the sky, and he has a list of 10 things he doesn't want you to do. And if you do any of those 10 things, he will send you to a place where you will burn and suffer forever and ever for all time. But he loves you. You know, but like Bill said it, I feel like Bill said it first and a little more like intense of like God is infinite love. But, you know, he just, the idea like once I realized I didn't believe in hell, then I was like, it was just so liberating, the feeling of like, oh, it's like hell is something we do to ourselves, you know?
Here on Earth.
Yeah.
God sounds like a dick if that's the truth.
Well, it's interesting too. Like you learn when you grow up with really tight religion. Like I grew up with Catholicism as well.
Yeah.
Like it's just hitting me right now. This realization, like, oh, I was taught that love is 100% conditional.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
God loves you infinitely, but he will
Unless-
torture you if you don't do what he says.
Right.
He's like an abusive husband.
Kind of. Yeah. That doesn't. Like I'm just realizing.
You're just
that
realizing
right now.
It says,
How do you feel?
It's as though it's some sort of archaic form of thinking.
Do you guys think that you took that into your like grown up
100%. I know that I because of just heaven and hell and sin and atone, I have a really, and I think people with religion grow up with almost like categorizing their actions and their feelings a lot because it's so dichotomous. It's almost like
It doesn't flow. Like it doesn't-
yeah, because it's so black and white in religion where it's just like you're going to hell or you're going to heaven. Like you're good or you're bad. Like you're sinning, you're not. It's like I think religion teaches you to categorize things in these really stark ways that are unnatural and not good for life.
Yeah.
Ever, but you grow up with this and like the stakes couldn't be higher. It's not even like if you do this wrong, like you might fuck up. If you do this wrong for fucking ever, your skin's gonna burn.
But I think that it's so weird that you can be like, "Can I get a forgiveness, please?" And they're like, "Great, you're forgiven." Like you could do anything, right?
Right.
the
'cause that's-
forgiveness thing is hilarious. It's like say this chant
Totally.
50,000 times and you're good to go.
That's what I totally picked that up. Bill Hicks, man, because it was the first time I realized, oh, it's not just black and white. It's all gray. It's just gray area. And then the idea of, like, he even touched on that of like, oh, you have to go to a priest to forgive you of your sins. He's like, what? He's like, there's no need for a middleman. There is a living God inside of you. You know,
Yeah.
It's because it didn't make any sense because that's what they teach us. It's like, well, we're all pieces of God. We all have God inside of us. Well, then what do we need? Some guy in a robe with a tonsure.
I was gonna say.
Oh shit!
So this was a really Bildungsroman story of you coming of age. So you were in high school. Is that when you started listening to comedy, and that's when you kind of started?
No. I always loved comedy. I wanted to be a comedian since I was like little, like small. Yeah.
When did you realize that? That's adorable.
I mean, that's just all I cared about was laughing and making other people laugh, and you know. But it was, you know, it's like it seems so impossible and like not a real viable option, you know. And then it was once later in high school, and particularly a girl that I dated in high school made me feel real shitty and stupid about it.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Why? What'd she fucking say?
I will never forget it as long as I live. We were on the phone one time talking about what we want to do, like after school or after college, and she's telling me about everything that she wants to do and all these different things. And then finally gets to my turn to say something. And she's like, I was like, and I said, you know what I've always wanted to do my whole life?
Like admitting it to someone finally.
And she cut me off and goes, don't say stand-up comedy. And then I immediately retreated and was like, no, of course not. No, that's so stupid. Why would I?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
That's so sad. Live your dreams, you guys.
I want to go back and unplug her phone, like before she.
I want to go back and unplug her.
Right. What is she? Do you look her up on Facebook?
No, I couldn't care less.
I want to
Oh,
find
that's
out what
healthy.
she's.
Yeah.
That's healthy.
Yeah.
Is it healthy that I just want to make sure that she has like 6 terrible
She lives
children?
on some soy farm or something in Vermont and thinks she's hot shit. She's a fucking loser.
I'm so sorry. What a sad little lady.
I know.
She probably wanted to be a stand-up
But I
comedian.
also learned that too. It's like it had nothing to do with me. She was
Right.
just filled with so much sadness and insecurity that she had to take it out on somebody else.
It's amazing
Right.
that you still not that you still went for it, but that like your dreams weren't like never
Well,
crushed.
I know. Well, it's a calling, you know.
Yeah.
It was something that it was inside of me, very
Isn't everyone
small.
in your family like doctors and lawyers and shit?
They're all lawyers.
Really? Wait, are you the youngest of
Yeah.
kids? How many kids?
I have a brother and a sister, both lawyers, both a decade older than me, 9 and 10 years older.
Oh, wow.
Colleen and Michael. And then my father was a lawyer, retired, and my mother is a retired teacher.
Wow.
But then I realized it's all the same job. It's all standing in front of a group of strangers, convincing them you know what you're talking about.
Which is stand-up comedy also.
Stand-up comedy, lawyering, teaching.
What do they think of the fact that you did this?
Well, it just makes so much sense.
Right.
You know, everybody that I went to school with when they found out I was doing this, they were like, yeah, of course. Of course.
That's so cool.
Soy lady.
I mean, it was a combination of being so dissatisfied with my day job and then just being literally just fed up with people telling me I should be a comedian.
What was your first time doing stand-up like?
It's weird. I was thinking about it earlier today. It was terrible.
What happened? Was it open mic?
No, it was. I definitely did like 1 or 2 open mics before I did a show in front of like actual people. So it was a bringer show. So you had to bring like, you know, I brought like 10 or 15 people.
Wow.
And the set was terrible. I was terrible.
How old were you? 12?
23.
Oh, that's a baby.
Yeah.
What do you feel like you've learned? Like, if you had to go back and be like, "Oh man, here's some Ulysses Cliff Notes on how to be a stand-up comedian."
I mean, I was just so wound up, and I had my notes written on, like, I'd cut a circle with my jokes and pasted it to the face of the wristwatch I was wearing, so I'm pretending to look at what time it was.
No,
Yeah.
that's such over preparation, and it's amazing.
I was so scared.
That's so
little tiny baby.
I don't know, just more, I don't know what Cliff Notes I would tell myself, just being more comfortable and being like, you know, just to relax and enjoy. And it's like,
Also, don't do bringer shows.
ugh.
Like a 7
Yeah.
drink minimum, and it was in the.
Oh yeah, the club was the worst. It was
You met
the
your
worst.
wife through comedy.
Mhm.
Oh. She told me she had a crush on you. After seeing
She
you
liked
at-
me for 6 months.
and then had to say to you, "Ask me out, dude." Right? Something like that.
Well, I still think she's out of my league, so I never said a thing to her.
She's walked in here with your baby in her body,
And our first baby on a leash.
and she's out of your league.
What if like you really just had
No.
a child on a leash? Like that's what you're.
Well, that's what I think when I see
People do
people
that.
with those, like, you know, they wear, the baby has like a monkey backpack
Yeah.
with like
Right.
the tail, but you have your kid on a leash.
I feel like
That makes sense.
that people make fun of those people until they have a kid that needs a leash, and they're like, "This kid, I'm saving this kid from killing itself and running into the street." Like if you have a hyperactive kid and you're like, "I don't give a shit anymore. I'm putting him on a leash." Am I defending people who put their kids on leashes?
It sounds like it.
I don't know, man.
Keep
I
him
think
safe.
my nephew could have fucking done a lot of damage to himself, but he never had a leash, but he could have used one.
Can I just say, as a human being that has been hit by a car,
Right.
Uh-oh.
it's fine.
Oh, getting hit by a car?
Yeah, it's fine. I got a $500 settlement from that, you guys.
500? That's it?
$500?
I was 12 years old. I was crossing the street. I was new to the neighborhood, and we moved to a very rich neighborhood. We rented like a shitty house because the schools were really good. And my sister we were crossing the street, and she was like, go after this BMW. And I was so new to the neighborhood, I couldn't tell the difference between BMWs and Mercedes.
I still
I
can't
was-
sometimes.
And I was like, which German luxury car is which? And I dashed out into the street, and I got hit by a Mercedes.
Oh my God.
I flew up on the hood.
Holy shit.
Wow.
And I saw the whole world go whoosh like a roller coaster, go backwards. And then I landed on the ground, and I had just gotten new back to school pants the day before. And I was like, oh no, these pants are going to be ripped. I know it. I'm screwed. And I got up, and the pants were fine. And I was like, oh, that's good. It's fine.
Were you hurt?
Yes. And anyway, it was a 16-year-old driving her parents' Mercedes, and they settled out of court. They gave me $500, and I was like, cha-ching.
Fuck that. Your parents, the amount of money your parents could have gotten from
I
like
know.
damages of things that happened, like you getting your fucking finger caught in the escalator.
My whole hand was caught in an escalator from a major retail chain, and I got $1,200 settlement for it.
Your parents
I
should be
still
rich.
my hand still doesn't work. Anyway, you get hit by a car, it's fine. It's not always fine. $500. I was like, well, it's a lot of pixie sticks I can buy.
Did you
with
even tell your parents? Did you negotiate it as a 12-year-old?
No, but
They're like, you'll get a bag of gummy bears.
I remember that the fire trucks came and the ambulances came. And I just remember apologizing so much to the firemen for having to come all the way down. And they're like, why are you saying
So
sorry? You just got hit
Catholic.
by a car. And I was like,
So
I'm
Catholic.
And then my parents came and I apologized to them. I'm like, sorry, you guys had to get out of work for this, man. I'm sorry. And they're like,
Oh my God.
you're 12. You got hit by a car. And
Also, your sister's not taking very good care of you.
well, we didn't know the difference between luxury cars. Anyway, so yeah, that is probably a Catholic thing, being like, I'm so
So
sorry.
guilty, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still do that?
Do you still feel sorry for things?
Yeah, well, I constantly feel guilty, and like I didn't even think I was good enough to be with the woman I was meant to be with.
God.
I mean, it's.
Did you sabotage it for a while? Were you like,
No,
are you
I
sure you don't
just-
want out?
I didn't even. As soon as I found out she liked me, I was like, we're getting married. It's like, that's it.
She's a doll, by the way.
Yeah.
She
Thank
just
you.
lights up a whole room.
She's
You're
great.
like, oh, sorry,
She's
I'm
the
staring at
best.
your wife.
She's my favorite.
She took your last name too.
Oh, she did?
That's pretty. I don't know why that to me is like it's such a huge deal.
Because she's a performer, too. So that's,
Right.
That's kind of, that is a big
And I
deal.
would never fucking do that.
I knew a guy that took his wife's last name,
Wow.
and then they got divorced.
Oh,
and she cheated on him. I know. It's fine.
maybe she didn't respect. No, I'm not going to say that.
Not cheated. She had an emotional affair, but that's neither here nor there.
It's cheating.
That's cheating.
But I don't know. Who takes names anymore?
My sister fucking did it like
That's
a
good.
month ago.
I think it's cute when people combine them,
Well,
too.
it wasn't too far off from her name,
Oh.
McMurray McCarthy.
Oh, yeah, that's
So
cute.
she kept all of her towels. But the other thing I think is funny is it's like, well, it's not even your name.
Yeah.
It's your father's name. So it's still, it's this whole,
That's true.
it's all made up anyway.
Unless you're George's mom.
Oh, my mom fucking got divorced from my dad and was like changing my last name, making it up. She just made up a last name.
Really?
It was the month she was born in. She's like, I'm not my dad's last name anymore. I'm not your shitty father's last name anymore. My dad's not shitty, and my mom just hates him.
That could be the title to your to a memoir.
My dad's not shitty. My mom just hates him. That's a great name for a book.
ever.
That is a bestseller.
Thanks, Alie.
Wow.
So she made up a last name. Yeah, I guess that's true. That is my dad.
What's her last name?
March.
March.
It's a good one.
Born in
good name.
March.
Yeah, I guess Alie November doesn't quite have the ring to
No,
it.
Yeah.
Georgia June. No,
Georgia
Georgia
June's cute.
June.
Does that
Georgia
work?
June.
I just
There
don't-
is something a little drag queeny about it.
It is. Why
Come
would
to the
I?
stage, Georgia June.
Why would I take? But then if I take his last name, I'm taking his dad's last name. That's like even
Right.
shittier. I'd rather have my dad's last name,
Right.
who isn't a dick, than his dad's last name, who might have been. He wasn't a dick, but I'm confusing myself.
Identity is an interesting. It is interesting that as women up until like a decade ago would be like, and identity is provided by
Right.
men. You're
It
just
is
like, okay.
interesting that
Well, it's
My
arose by
sister's-
any other name. It's you make the name, you give it meaning.
sure.
Right.
You can't allow anyone else to dictate to you what it means.
Well, I just had to tell my dad that he's not walking me down the aisle when I get married.
How do you take that?
I don't. He's fine.
Are you just gonna roll solo?
I'm just gonna fucking.
You're gonna come down on a Segway by yourself?
That's cool.
You're just full of great ideas today.
Glennis went down the aisle with her sister and her cousin.
Oh, that's
Oh,
nice.
that's cute. Is that because is her dad a dick or not?
He unfortunately he's no longer with us. He was still alive at the time, but he had early onset Alzheimer's.
Oh.
Just it's not even a disease; it's a sin. It's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah.
She works.
Yeah.
She does charity shit for that.
Hmm. Yep.
I tasted some wine in honor of Alzheimer's. I was like, I can totally get behind this charity. I can buy some wine.
There's there's a wine sale. Like why don't they do that instead of like Girl Scout cookies? Why don't adult charities just be like, you want to buy this wine?
Sell
It's
some
slightly
wine?
marked up.
a great
You're
idea.
gonna love it. Why don't people do that?
I don't know. Let's fucking do that.
You are full of ideas
I'm
today.
just an idea factory.
Write the shit down.
Cha-chang.
I'm seriously
That is a good idea. If you're just like, here are things that people would buy anyways.
right.
Weed. Here's some weed for charity.
Markup. You know you want it. It's thin mint flavored. I don't know.
Buy it
Come and
anyway.
get it.
Samosa. What's your perfect day? Like you could design your day, start to finish. You wake up, you're doing a thing. Be
somewhere.
anywhere.
Wow.
What would you do?
It's ironic because I hate being in the sun, but I would love to be near the beach or near the water. I would love to go swimming in the shade.
We should
Yeah.
we should note that you are a very pale ginger.
Oh, man.
I saw you walking down the street the other day with a giant umbrella.
I have it outside.
Oh, you do?
That's precious.
Because
Yes.
you burn so easily.
Oh, yeah. I'm covered in freckles. I have freckles on parts of my body that never see the sun.
Like what? No, don't tell me.
So you're swimming in the shade.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it would also involve watching TV. Maybe. I also like a crowded house. I like a lot of people around, you know. It's some hot dogs or some hamburgers or something.
Would you be performing at all, or would you be taking the day off?
That could be cool too.
You should have a barbecue that's also a show. That maybe wasn't my best idea.
Fun.
Wasn't there someone that did that?
There
used
is
to
one
have
in
a,
like Burbank. There's like a
someone just turns their backyard into a comedy show.
There is one.
Oh, yeah, I've been to a couple shows like that.
So you wouldn't be doing that though.
I did one show like that where it was like, the backyard was basically just like the parking area. And they share the place with a couple families, and one family, I feel like it was a BMW or a Mercedes or something, like a nice car, just smashed to hell, covered in bird shit, because there is a wild peacock that basically moved in and took over that car. The peacock did it all. Smashed the car up, shit all over it.
Kidding me.
And so then when the show started, like the peacock kind of gets freaked out by all the people and just goes up to the top of the car and stays there.
This is my dream. This is my dream.
Can we go there?
Can we go there right now?
This is our perfect day.
We can go there.
This is
Oh
our
my
perfect day.
god! I want a peacock to take over my car so
Is that
bad.
wild
I
or
want to
what?
see a menacing peacock. I want to have a menacing peacock throw me so much shade.
Do you know that peacocks like scream? They're so loud.
Like goats?
Do they really?
They're loud squawkers.
You know what's funny to
Wow.
see is when you see a peahen. It's a female peacock, and they're just brown with
They're,
like
kinda
no
ugly.
tail.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah. But
Oh, so
there's
peacocks are like doing it to
roosters.
get attention?
Yeah, they're the roosters of the situation. And a peahen is essentially like a lady chicken.
I lived in the valley, and down the street there had been a Busch Gardens, like the wild animal parks and stuff.
That's so funny
in
that
the valley.
existed.
This is in Panorama City because there's a bush plant there, so it always smelled disgusting and like yeast because they were always. Anyways, when they closed the Busch Gardens, they just let all the wild birds out. So they lived in the trees.
They just let them out,
Yeah,
the poor
and
things?
So my car used to be covered in like wild bird shit, which is just like huge, like disgusting and huge, and you could never get your car clean because these like fucking tropical wild birds lived in these trees and just shit all over your car.
Wow.
Is that why I feel like there's some? I read somewhere that we have a bunch of parrots in LA because
Yeah.
a bunch escaped from like a either a pet store or an enclosure in Burbank or something. But I don't know. I need
Maybe
to
that's
research
it.
that.
Yeah, there are parrots. I think that's so fucking cool just to look up.
We saw a couple of those parrots the other day.
And there's a lot in Atwater. They're just wild, just packs of. They're like a gang. They're very
so
loud.
cool.
I feel like I really interrupted your perfect day, and I'm
yeah, I
so
forgot we
sorry.
were
I started
doing
talking
that.
about barbecue shows. I don't know what's wrong with me.
I don't know. I don't know what my perfect day would be.
It sounds pretty good.
I'd like some TV and some back rubs and maybe some beers and some friends. I'm a simple man. My favorite meal is hot dogs cut up in macaroni and cheese. I don't need much.
I love that.
So good.
Did you eat that as a kid?
I eat that as an adult. I haven't had it in a long time, though. I do have a pack of Hebrew National sitting in my fridge, but I don't have any mac and cheese. I got
kind of
really
mac and-
sick of mac and cheese.
What kind of mac and cheese? It has to be like Velveeta, or does it have to be like the powdered shit?
Yeah, I would do the powdered shit just because that's what I grew up on, but I got sick of it. Annie's is pretty good, too.
Yeah.
I would probably like it again because I haven't had it in, a long time, maybe even a year and a half or something.
Do you grill? Do you cut up the hot dogs and grill them and throw them in?
I
or-
boil them. Boil the hot dogs, baby. The first time I ever saw my brother put a hot dog in the microwave and like the ends split. Have you ever
Right.
seen it? It's crazy.
Yeah.
I know. What's
I'll
going
microwave
on
a hot
there?
dog.
I've done it.
You just
I like boiling it. Boil it up,
Question.
save the water, drink it. No, not that part.
I was going to say, what happens to hot dog water? Hot dog
feed it to
water.
your dog.
Hot dog water has a really distinct smell, and I was just talking about it like recently. I forget what, but I smelled something that smelled like hot dog water, and it was like on point. And it's it's the smell. Like,
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You're just
Yeah,
like,
it smells like hot dogs. And
It'll
smells like-
eventually become a thing. It's like people started coming out of the closet about drinking pickle juice.
the hot dog water's next.
Somebody's next. They're like, I drink hot dog water.
They're gonna
That's
make
the
a
name of my book.
sorbetto.
and Jennifer Aniston's like selling it hot dog water,
Right.
bottled hot dog water.
It's like coconut water. It's so many electrolytes.
yeah, you should totally do it.
I had a question about hot dogs or something.
Protein water.
Sodium.
Whacking back some protein water.
Oh. I forgot what my question was. I'm
About
so
hot
sorry.
dogs?
No, I can't
They're
remember.
good.
It went bye.
Betty White eats hot dogs every day, she says.
Does she really?
She goes, she said, I would never recommend it to anyone, but they're just so good.
Oh, why is she so cute?
She is the cutest.
You know what's interesting is if you eat a Slim Jim and you have extra time and you're reading the packaging on a Slim Jim, which
Oh,
I've done,
yeah.
the first ingredient is beef hearts.
Oh.
And I always think it's interesting that they specify, like, the beef is an adjective and not a noun in that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? Just tell me it's beef. It's fine. Like, you don't have
Yeah.
to, that's
Beef
too much detail.
hearts.
But if you read a package of hot dogs, it wouldn't be like pig buttholes,
Specifically
pig
what-
tails.
I did shows in China with Tom Shalhoub once, and when we went to eat, he specifically said it was his second trip there, and he said to our guide, "Don't tell us what we're eating until we've eaten it." And they brought out a bit. They just kept bringing out stuff, and this big bowl of meat, and it was delicious, delicious.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
And then when we were done, the guy was like, "Those were duck hearts,"
Oh,
Okay.
and we were like, "They're fucking good.
Alie, we're gross.
We're like,
They were good."
I really expected you to say fetuses. So
Oi, oi, oi.
Duck fetuses.
although Georgia posted a video of a duck yesterday with the caption, "I'm a vegetarian now."
It's this duck like in the front seat of a car, and
Driving to the pond.
yeah, no, but I think this family must have raised him because kids were getting off of a school bus, and the minute this duck saw his kid, he starts losing his shit. Wah, 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 wah. And the kid gets in the car and he's like, "Hey," like gives
Hey,
him a
dog.
kiss on the bill.
yeah, he's just like, it's a dog. He's just like, sup, and then he cuddles him, pets him, kisses him on the bill, and then they.
The duck's like, "I've missed you all day."
I know.
I'm so. It's like wagging its tail by going quack quack.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
I didn't
But
even
we'd eat that
realize it.
heart. We'd eat his heart.
I know.
Eat your heart out, ducky.
I would
Was
eat
it
him.
good?
It was delicious.
It was good. So it was, yeah.
I dig hearts. And when I was a kid, my mom would make chicken. She'd take the fucking gizzards and fry them up in butter for me, and I'd fucking be Hannibal Lecter and just eat the shit like as a little kid. And
Well, I
ate
remember the
tongue
first time
sandwiches.
because I worked at an A&P on Nantucket,
Whoa.
which I don't even think it's there anymore. And there's a big Jamaican population on Nantucket of, I mean, like they're all laborers. They're there to like work and stuff, And I worked with a lot of them at the A&P. And it was the first time in my life I'd ever seen chicken feet for sale.
Oh. Yeah.
And when I saw the package, I was just like, "What?"
I don't want feet. I don't want anything that's like carrying you around on the gross chicken ground. Right?
Yeah, chickens don't walk on good stuff.
No. Chicken ground.
But he said,
But-
"No, it's good."
But there's, buttholes. Hot dogs. Hot dogs are buttholes.
Yeah, but they're not in the form of buttholes. Like I wouldn't eat a baggie of. I wouldn't cook up some buttholes.
What if those chicken feet were ground into nugs?
Fine, fair. I would eat that. I probably do eat that whenever I eat McDonald's. Let's face
You
it.
just want it to be emulsified.
yes,
And then it's fine.
turn into goo and like breaded and fried. And
Down
I don't
to,
want
like-
it to see. I don't want to see a fucking toenail.
Right.
I don't want to see like when I used to eat tongue sandwiches when I'd go to the Jewish delis, and then I saw in the deli case a tongue. It's like they just shave a tongue, like a giant
Yeah.
cow tongue, and I stopped eating it.
Wow.
Because you can see the fucking taste buds.
Sure can.
Taste you back.
I know. They just, it's like they just slice it with like a cheese knife,
Yeah,
real thin.
and then you can feel it on your own tongue, and then you die.
I have the equal level of admiration and envy for Jews and gays. They're both people that I want to be, and I'm just like, pfft,
George is a gay
Sucks.
Jew.
I'm not
You got a bra on your head, so what does that say? I wish I were either of those things.
Is your mother Jewish?
Yeah, we're all Jewish.
Then there you go. You're really Jewish.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
super Jewish.
Yeah. Did you know that? You have to come from a Jewish womb.
From a lady boom.
That's what they say. I just feel like it really depends on how you were raised.
Well, yeah. It's all made up. It's all
I
made
feel
up,
like
Georgia.
being a Jew,
I think a Jew's fucking awesome.
or a gay,
I dig it.
you or an interesting ethnicity, you have a view of the world that is outside, and I think it gives you some objectivity to things that have been fucked up in history.
So you just don't want any, like, you don't want to be of a privileged set.
Well, I mean, I'm a lady, so we're
Yeah, that's
fucked
true.
there. I mean, that's the
Sure.
other thing is like being a woman, you're just like, oh yeah, I have an outside look at things. I mean, it's marginalizing and it's frustrating, but it's also interesting from an objective standpoint.
Well, it is an apartheid because there's more women than men.
Really?
So you shouldn't be.
Oh yeah, that's.
I'd rather, but
So
I'd
you
rather
shouldn't be
a
an
woman.
outsider.
Yeah, 51%.
You're the
right?
majority.
I know. Doesn't mean it doesn't suck, but
Oh no, I'm agreeing with
It's
you.
pretty awesome, though.
I do
You can
think-
also use that fact that you're a woman to your advantage.
it's in some ways it's liberating because your job is to make things better than it was for the people that came before you.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like you're a little bit motivated to try to make things a little. You're motivated to do things a little differently. You have that like freedom.
Why
to
don't
be
you do
like,
that with Catholicism?
this is a great point. I also think that growing up Catholic, I'm so sorry Catholics who are listening to this, but is like one of the worst mind fucks you can give your children.
You know what's really weird lately is I've been meeting.
Not the worst.
I don't
but
even think a practicing Catholic would disagree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that there are like harsh, there are like cults, and there are like we're not allowed to celebrate birthdays, and there's things like that. But like a really, really oppressive religion that teaches you that you have an original sin from birth,
Right.
and you have to
Jesus.
work really hard
You
to
were born
oppress someone.
in the red.
You're
born in
born
the red.
like your
You're already-
essential. Like I feel like some religions just
Born
teach
in
you
the
your essential nature is shamey and fucked up, and you gotta work to be accepted. And that's, I think, what's detrimental to people's
Yeah, I
psychology.
think if you explain Catholicism without saying what it was to someone, they'd be like, "Oh, that's a fucked up cult to be raised in," and they're like,
Right.
"No, it's actually."
sorry, Catholics.
No, hey, it's
Not
awesome.
really. I'm not really. I'm one of you, so I feel like I can say all this shit. Right?
I come from a long line of fallen Catholics, and so much as my heroes are Bill Hicks and George Carlin.
Listen, you don't listen to Slumber Party for fucking. I don't know what.
For religious guidance.
No,
For us to
Well, maybe you should.
Yeah. Let's do fuck that.
Okay, fuck that.
So fuck that is a game we play. It's two things. One thing you love so much, you would whisper to it and lay it down, slow bone it.
We're gonna end on that because we don't like to
put a
end on a
baby on it.
negative, which is
Yeah, but we'll start with a negative, which is one thing you're like, fuck that.
Yeah.
So we'll start with something shitty. What's a thing that you hate so much? Flames?
Flames on the side of my face.
But what's the thing you hate?
what's thinking.
What's a
I
worse
hate
thing?
the trailer for the new goddamn Batman versus Superman movie.
Oh, what do you hate?
The thing I hate the most, I mean, aside from this asinine idea, you get these stupid executives who think, oh, Batman was a big hit, so that's what they want. They want dark superheroes. It's like, no. Batman was a hit because you allowed Batman to be Batman. Batman is a dark character. Don't make Spider-Man darker. Don't make Superman dark. That's why they can't make a fucking Superman movie worth of shit. And now they're doing this Batman versus Superman bullshit.
Those two never met.
And they do. It's just it's like Bruce and Clark are like it's like friends who get along, but like they see each other for what they are. So it's like they also don't get along. You know, they have different philosophies. But the thing that made me pull my fucking eyelashes off was in the trailer. At one point, Superman is talking to his mother, his adopted mother, Martha Kent, who, like, we all know the story of Superman.
Yeah.
He's an alien baby. He lands and by the grace of God is found by a kindly couple from Kansas, and they raise him with those values. And that's why he's such a good person. And that's why he doesn't use his powers for evil. He uses them for good. And in the goddamn trailer at one point, he's talking to her, and she says something along the lines of like, you know, be a hero or don't be a hero. Be whatever you need them to be or don't. And then the line she goes, you don't owe this world a thing. And I wanted to smash my computer. I was like, "Fucking, that's what Martha Kent's going to say to him? Are you kidding me?" The only acceptable thing is that if it turns out she's like an alien wearing a Martha Kent mask, or it's like Lex Luthor fucking with him somehow. I lost my shit.
Okay, Georgia, what do you hate?
I can't remember. What do you hate?
I was gonna say something not as passionate, but I hate my water filter.
Oh, right.
I hate my water filter. I bought a $300 water filter
Ooh,
to solve this.
that's more than half your settlement money.
No, I know. I've been living in LA for 15 years and buying bottled water for 15 years.
Oh no,
Which is horrible for the planet and my whole body. But I bought this water filter that's $300. It's called a Berkey filter. I did a bunch of research. It's gonna last forever, and it's better for the environment. And it's better for me, right? So I get these filters on it. I'm so excited that I no longer ever have to purchase water, and I have been running water through it for maybe 25 gallons of water, and it's still coming out murky. And it's like, you have to flush the filters for a while before they come out not tasting like baking soda.
How about they do that at the fucking factory?
At the factory. So I keep trying to use it, and I'm like, maybe this is the time the water is going to come out clear and tasting delicious. And it keeps tasting like baking soda. And I just am like, I'm wasting so much water just filtering it. So if anyone has a Berkey filter and they've dealt with this,
or if
there's
anyone
like,
has a filter they like.
well, no, these are supposed to be the best ones, but it's like they have a charcoal filter, and then you screw on an arsenic and fluoride filter because all that. But the funny thing is, when I look and I see the stuff that's coming out of my water, there's a layer of rust that is coming out of my water.
I wonder if your it's just your
disgusting.
water is so fucking
No, it
gnarly.
comes out of this. There's like an arsenic filter that it just takes a while to filter out. Anyway, every time I take a sip of it, I'm like, God, what? I'm not as mad about it as you are, but Georgia.
I hate the show the new season of True Detective, which I know like everyone does, but
I stopped watching after
did you?
episode 2.
That's what I know. I'm not going to stop watching it because I'm just going to keep hoping it gets better.
Is
No,
it
I
just
refuse.
too slow?
It's stupid.
fucking
Is it
boring.
too precious?
It's so boring.
Precious, slow.
They're just explaining shit that I don't give a goddamn
And
about.
every character is like so joyless and talks like this.
So
Yeah.
we're having an epidemic, a pandemic of two dark protagonists.
But I feel like
Right.
there's
General,
something
in culture.
there's something in their life. They go home and they're like, "Oh, cool, a new episode of like my favorite show's on." No, like they're all just miserable constantly.
they just stop and get like a really good like a muffin on the way
Yeah,
home.
like
and
you're
they're
so
"Woo."
stoked that like this
Yeah.
your favorite coffee shop started carrying coconut milk instead of just almond milk. Like something happens. In
I
your
would be
fuck-
so excited.
right. Like even if you're depressed, you're like, "Oh, cool, this is exciting." But no, they're just like the most miserable, angry fucking people. All right, let's end with Matt's love. Alie,
Georgia, what do you love?
I love. Okay, I know we're not supposed to be drinking almond milk. Speaking of almond milk,
Oh,
What's
there's
wrong
so
with
much,
almond milk?
It uses too much water, but it's
uses
delicious.
too much water.
Oh.
Guys,
We're in a
I'm drinking
drought.
almond milk right now.
I don't like almond milk. That's why I don't drink it.
Well, here's what you got to get: Blue Diamond almond milk. You know this brand. They
Right.
came out with a kind that has. You ready for this?
No.
A hint of honey.
Oh.
And it is fucking delicious. And you put it in cereal, and your life is better.
I know, but we eat cheese.
I know.
And I have gelato.
it's
I'm an
delicious.
asshole.
It comes right from their titties.
I
Are
think
you
I
gonna try your wife's tit milk? Do you think?
Ew.
Yeah, you got to taste it.
Maybe.
Weird question I just asked.
No, it was a great question. It's been hanging over us for the last hour.
Would you taste boob milk, Alie,
Yeah, I would totally.
I would too.
Especially if I were a dude. I'd be like, let me hit that tap.
from your wife? But like, if a friend was like, "I just had a baby," and you're like, "Can I taste
Friend, no. If the nipple has already been in my mouth from a contextual standpoint,
Right.
I would be like, I'll tap that.
the what it would take for you to get into that point in your life that all of that would happen? I just want to know like how that story goes.
What, you mean with a friend?
No, that's never mind.
You mean that I would have a nipple in my mouth?
Somehow you would have a nipple in your mouth, and that person would have had a baby, and then you'd be with that baby person. While
Yeah.
they're like that's so much
Probably
in your
not.
life has to change.
Probably not going to happen. So, you know,
that was a
for the
fucking-
rest of us, Matt,
Digression. Alie, what do you love?
hit the nip.
I'm hip. I'm hip to the nip.
I like this. I like this Instagram account that
Okay.
makes me feel your face is like so excited because I think you think it's going to be a cute animal and
Yeah,
it's
I
not.
do.
I know, and I feel really bad. Okay, I'll give you a cute animal. This isn't the one I was going to say, but the one that I'm lately obsessed with, the latest adorable dog account is Norbert. It's a dog named Norbert. It's Norbert the dog. It's a 3-pound rescue therapy dog. It's 3 pounds. It does not look real. It looks like a gremlin. Anyway, Norbert the dog. But the
Okay.
thing I was going to say was there's an account called Wish You Were Northwest, and it's all just like camping porn. It's just like people in the woods and forest, and they look
going to be
beautiful.
about a baby Northwest.
No, it's not Northwest. Wish you were Northwest. Because then you'd be rich as shit.
I thought it was going to be just like this. Anyways, got real excited.
Oh, God. Wish you were Northwest would be the best. It would just be like the best sneakers on a 2-year-old ever. Anyway, they sell this shirt that I bought, and it's like my favorite thing ever. And it just says in block letters, iced coffee and lakes and campfires. It's just a tank top that says that. And I forgot that I ordered it, and it came in the mail.